Hey guys, how's it going? Today we got two unboxings to do from Astell Kern. This is the high-end audio South Korean company, and this is the first unboxing we'll do is the Astell Kern SE100 digital audio player, or DAP. This is the special Gundam version that was only released in Japan. There was only 300 units made, and yeah, I mean, I got it because actually there's a bit of a long story behind the reason why I got this. Basically, I had an Astell Kern SR15 DAP before, and that was a pretty decent DAP. I mean, it was a $700 DAP, so it was the entry-level DAP for Astell Kern. Yes, because Astell Kern is a very high-end audio company. That was the entry level, and I had it for 2.5 years, I would say. And then I just wanted to see if there was something better. A few months ago, I did a review on the Shanling UA2, but that's a dongle that you plug into an Android phone. And the advantages and disadvantages of Android phones versus DAPs, well, just to not to go too much into it, but DAPs basically allow you to control your music more finely. Like, they have an analog volume wheel and stuff like that. There's more steps in the volume control. They have a built-in DAC, so you don't need to use a USB dongle or anything. And it's more suited to playing music. Like, you got the physical media playback controls and stuff, which I preferred. But then the UA2, the Shanling UA2 was really nice and stuff, but then you had to carry around the dongle, and I was using it with my Motorola Razr Fold. So I thought maybe I should just get a dedicated DAP again, so I don't have to carry around a dongle or anything. And I was looking for a different DAP to upgrade to, right? So I had still my SR15. I want to see if there's something better I could get. And I was looking around, and around the same price range, $700, $800 price range for DAPs, you have the FiO M11 Pro, the new LTD Plus from FiO as well. You have the Shanling M6 Pro, and the Hibi R6 2020, all of which are pretty nice Chinese DAPs. So when I did my research, right, looking around on all the reviews and stuff, Chinese DAPs in general seem to have more features than the other ones. I mean, well, actually, most DAPs on the market are Chinese, but I'm just going to say the FiO, Hibi, and Shanling DAPs and the iBasso DAPs seem to have more features all around compared to the other high-end DAPs. Like, they have the latest Bluetooth controls, including LDAC support, and they have, just like they're running on an Android version, right? So the FiO LTD Plus was running on the latest. Well, actually, maybe not the latest. I think it's running on Android 10 or something like that. But still, that's better than Android 7 or 8, which is all the other DAPs are all like Android versions behind, right? So maybe there might be something a little bit better sound quality if I just pay a little bit more. I just look a little bit more ahead into the $1,000 to $1,500 range, and that's where you get into the SE100, which is actually an old DAP from Astell Kern. This is their previous generation mid-range DAP that actually retailed for $1,700 back in 2018. So this is from 2018, but it retailed for $1,700, which is considered mid-range for Astell Kern. I mean, given their top-end DAPs are like $3,000. So this is their mid-range one from 3 years ago. And this one is now selling for $1,000 online. So I was looking at this one, the SE100, because the new SE200, the replacement is still, $1,800. That's not at a discount or anything. And I was also looking at the SR25, which is the successor to the SR15, which also looked pretty good. That was more competing with the Hibi and the FiO and the Shanling, though. But yeah, I want to see like an upgraded sound quality too, but then you're kind of cutting out the features. When you're getting to the $1,500 category, you're looking at brands like Cayenne. So Cayenne has the N62, which is a pretty well-received DAP. You can actually switch out the DACs on that one. And you're looking at the Lotus, which is another Chinese brand that's kind of niche, but audiophiles know them. The Lotu PA 6000, the Lotu PA Gold, and then you're looking at some of the Hi-Fi Man DAPs at that price point. So the iBasso X300, I believe, is around that price point, and then of course Astell Kern is at that price point as well. So these are the really high-end DAPs you're looking for. Also the Deaf and Ray. The Deaf and Ray is newer Chinese brand. I was also looking at them too. The Prelude One Plus also caught my attention, but that one doesn't have a touchscreen. It's really just focused on sound quality. It doesn't even have a touchscreen. So when I was researching DAPs, it seems to me like there is a spectrum between features and sound quality. And the higher end you go in sound quality, generally the less features you have. I know it's kind of weird, but it seems like for the DAP market, that's how it is. So in the lower end, you got FiO, iBasso, Shanling, Hibi, like all these nice DAPs that give you good bang for the buck. that give you a lot of features, but the sound quality is maybe not as good as the very high end. The high end you get DAPs such as Hi-Fi Man, Luxury and Precision, KN, Lotu, right? Those, and Death and Ray. Like, you get these really high-end DAPs that are more about the sound quality, but not so much about the features or the UI. So really, I was looking for something in between. Like, I want to have good UI, decent amount of features, and I want to have good sound quality. Astell Kern seems to actually be in between those two extremes, right? Like, one extreme you have Hi-Fi Man, Death and Ray, which don't even have touchscreen controls, right? A Luxury, Precision, and Lotu have their own like dedicated operating system, and on low end you have the full-blown Android DAPs, but then the sound quality kind of takes a hit, I guess, because Android supposedly makes the sound quality go down compared to your custom OS. Astell Kern is kind of in between. They have their own OS. It's based off of Android. At the same time, they have some features like Bluetooth. It's not going to be as fully featured as the the FiOS and stuff. Like, this doesn't have LDAC, for example, but it has some features at least. And it has a touchscreen. It has like a decently modern interface, and the sound quality is also supposedly better, I would think, than the FiOS and Shanlings, at least for the intermediate range for the Astell Kern. The SR25 may be competing with the FiO M11s and stuff, and the Shanling M6 and the Hy-Vee R6, but this one, the SE100, should be better quality in theory than those ones, given that's a mid-range DAP from 3 years ago, but still should be competitive. Anyways, that's a long story. Sorry about the rant, but that's a long story behind me choosing this DAP. I looked online and I saw this one, and I was like, whoa, this is a limited edition from Japan, and $1,000 I can get it at a discount of $700 from the original retail price, which was $1,700 from 3 years ago. So I just thought, okay, I love Gundams, actually. That's if you look at my my collection in my apartment tour, you can see that I have a Gundam collection. So yeah, I'm actually into Gundams and stuff, and this is a limited edition from Japan. I saw it online for $1,000. So I thought, okay, this is a decent discount for a player like this. I know because the newer versions already came out. This should still be really good sound quality for the price. So yeah, let's pick it up. So this is what it looks like. Has Qualcomm aptX. That's one of the Bluetooth features of this device, made in Korea, designed by iRiver, which is the basically Astell Kern is iRiver. So it's basically the high-end premium end of iRiver. If people don't know, that was the old Korean audio brand that's been around for a very long time. Actually, it supports aptX HD, not just aptX. So even though it doesn't have LDAC, actually the newer players, the newer models do have LDAC, but since this is an older model from 3 years ago, it has aptX and aptX HD only. But I think that's still okay, given the fact that Astell Kern and these higher-end DAPs aren't really meant for playing Bluetooth anyways. I mean, you're paying this price premium mainly for the built-in DACs that you'll be using wired for, not really for the wireless. So I think that's okay. I mean, if you really wanted to have a good Bluetooth player, you would just use your Android phone, right? No need to buy one of these expensive DAPs. The DAC inside of this one is an ESS Saber ES9038 Pro, which should be a nice upgrade from the Cirrus Logic 43198 that was in my SR15s, and also in the SR25s. So yeah, let's take a look. Let's finally do the unboxing. Alright, so a pretty bland looking box here, all black, and you have, this is the quick start guide right here, and they will give you nice screen protectors here, and yeah, the outline the player in different languages. So yeah, nice quick start guide, but it's very simple here. And then you have this sheet here. It says Astell Kern Ultimate High Fidelity Sound System, MQS, Master Quality Sound. That's basically just their brand name for, I think, 24-bit 192 kilohertz files. It's not like MQA. MQA is its own format, but MQS is just a type of category, I would say. It's not like a type of format. It's just a category of files. So make the distinction. This one can play MQA files, by the way. It can play MQA files, but MQS is just a category. It's not its own format. And just for Astell Kern. And AN Futura SE100. Alright. This is a special edition DAP. And there it is. And we have a USB-C cable. That's another reason why I like this one, is because, the SR15, for some reason, the one I had before, charged only with micro USB. I don't know why. because this was released around the same time and it charges with USB-C. So why not make all their players USB-C? Is it just a they just wanted you to upgrade to this one just to be able to get USB-C? Like, that's, to me, that's kind of a dirty trick by Astell Kern. Like, they make you upgrade just to get USB-C. Anyways, it's like the lower end model gets the lower version USB, which is really kind of greedy in my opinion. This is branded with their logo. That's cool. It's a branded USB-C cable, and that's pretty much in the box. There's nothing else. It's a fairly simple box, no case or anything included. And this is it. This is the Astell Kern AM Futura SE100 Gundam edition. And actually, I believe there is some special markings here. So let's go over the player itself. So on the right side here, you have the beautiful tactile volume wheel. This is one of the very nice special benefits you get from a DAP versus an Android phone, right? So why not use a smartphone to play your music? Well, they don't have the analog volume click wheel like this to very finely control your volume. So, which is nice if you have very sensitive headphones, right? If you have very sensitive earphones, IEMs, or headphones, this is very nice, and I just love just that sound, right? Like this nice, beautiful analog click. I love that. So one of the things about the File M11 LTD Plus I didn't like is it didn't have this. It had like kind of a touch strip, which I didn't like. I wanted to have a clicky analog wheel. I mean, it's beautiful. It's almost like stress relief, you know? Yeah, it's something I could just do all day. It's like pretty much just something you do with your fingers. It's like stress relief. But yeah, anyways, Astell Kern engineered this volume dial very well. Awesome. Just the right amount of feedback. I have it here, really nice. Build quality is awesome, of course, for Astell Kern, given the price point it should be. Then you have the Gundam model RX-0 Unicorn Gundam 03 Venex. It's the name of the Gundam. And then on the left side here, you have 3 buttons up here. This one is going to be previous track. This one, middle one, is play pause, and the next track is this one. So kind of just realize that like when you feel these 3 buttons, that the middle one is play pause, and the other ones are, you know, previous back and next. So you should just know that from muscle memory. And then you get a special message here. It says full Psycho frame prototype mobile suit. Yep. I'm not familiar with this Gundam actually. This is from which series? I don't know. I only watched a few Gundam series, but not all of them. So I'm not sure. On the top here, you have a balanced input right here, 2.5 millimeter. I think in the newer versions they add 4.4 millimeter Pentacon connectors, which are starting to become more popular. That's the Sony connectors. But Astell Kern originally used the 2.5 millimeter balanced, which is fine for me since my old one used 2.5 and my IEMs used 2.5. But some people may prefer 4.4 because it's more durable. Then you just get an adapter. And you have a regular 3.5 millimeter single-ended unbalanced. Then you have the power button right here. And then down here you have USB-C charging. Like I said, they didn't put USB-C on their lower model at that time, right? For the SR25 now they put it back in, but for the SR15 they had micro USB because I guess they want you to upgrade to this one just to get USB-C. Micro SD slot, of course, can accept up to 512, I believe. Gigabyte micro SD card. You have a nice 5-inch screen here, that's 720p. Reason why it's 720p is because you don't want to waste too much battery life. I think you only get 10 hours out of it as it is, so you don't want to reduce that by giving a more high resolution screen. And that's fine because you don't need a high resolution screen for something that's just for playing music. And then you ready, guys, for the back? This is the nice back. Yep, this is a full art back here. This is the special edition, Gundam edition. It looks really beautiful actually. This mobile suit Gundam narrative on top. It's nice gold blue colored, and it says here it says Astell Kern, made in Korea, of course. The Astell Kern's players always designed in Korea, made in Korea. And yeah, it's just really beautiful player. One thing to note though is that this back is really slippery, so if you put it on any kind of slanted surface, then it's going to start sliding. So that's one thing to be aware of. This is really slippery back, and should definitely maybe just get a case for this, a nice case, but then you'll be covering up this nice beautiful picture. Also holding it, I mean, this is Astell Kern is well known for their kind of shapely designs, like they're very sharp edge designs, and this is no different. Kind of be aware that if you have big hands, like if you grip at the bottom, the sharp edges might cut. Like it's a bit uncomfortable. In general, I think it's okay. You'll be holding it like this most of the time, right? And I mean, I'm gonna hold it like this because I'm normally right-handed. So I'm right-handed. I'm using my right hand, you know, to do stuff, and then my left hand is holding the DAP. So I'm holding it like this. So it's okay, but sometimes, yeah, you don't want to hold it too hard because this is like kind of sharp. Just something to be aware of because it is a trapezoidal shape, and Astell Kern uses these kind of geometric designs, which looks really nice. I mean, solidly built and everything like that, and it's got a good amount of weight to it, and it's also not small. It's not the smallest DAP. I mean, it's not the biggest either. Like the Ibeso X300, for example, is massive. Or if you go for the Cayenne N8, those are massive DAPs, right? Some of them have tubes built inside, like the AK SP2000T. Those ones have tubes. Actually, they put new tubes inside of the DAP, and those are like massive, right? They're really thick and stuff. This one is medium, I would say. It's not as portable as you know, some of the FIOS and stuff like that. It's not as portable as some of the lower end ones actually, but you know, really nice premium build quality. It's definitely solid feeling, heft, and the size is pretty much what you would get from a normal smartphone these days. So I was used to the SR15 size, which is like tiny. It's like this size, and then this is like way bigger, but you also have a bigger display here, and I guess you can see more of your album artwork if you like that. Personally, I would have liked it if it was like a little bit smaller, like bigger than the SR15, but maybe a little smaller. Maybe like the SR25, I know is like a little bit bigger, but still maybe just a little bit bigger than that would have been nice. Like this is maybe a little bit hefty for me. I mean, I can obviously still carry it, but it's just, I mean, look, see how thick it is, right? So it's still a solid brick, like a gold brick in my pocket if I carry it. So I kind of wish could have been just a little bit lighter and smaller, but it's fine. I mean, given the fact that they had to put a bigger DAC inside of this device and stuff like that, and put separate DACs on both of the channels, the left and right channels. So yeah, the back is glass, so just be aware of that. I believe on the newer SE200 it's ceramic, but yeah, for this one it's glass, just like their older models. And yeah, I can see that I like Gundams and stuff, so this is a really nice design for me. Astell Kern, they do a lot of collaborations with different companies and people. They've done, I think, Japanese singer. They collaborated with a famous one before, Hana something, and they collaborated with Super Junior before. And I believe even for this model, the SE100, there's another special edition that they collaborated with this French artist called M. Chat, who makes this cartoon like cats and stuff like that, and it comes in like this green color with like cartoon cats on the back. So there's another special edition even for the same model. So yeah, but yeah, this is the first time I've seen, like, I've heard about this Gundam one, just doing like a random eBay search, and I found this one, and I was like, wow, okay, I'll just get it because it's cheaper than the normal version, and it's cool. I like it. And this, of course, like I said, the whole decision process I made is just, I thought this should be a nice middle ground between having decent amount of features and having nice sound quality. Alright, so let's turn it on. You can see Astell Kern's interface right here. So this interface, this is from the SE100. I think they've updated their interface before. I've updated the firmware to the latest, but still, I think this particular one may be still based on Android 6 or 7, but it's pretty dated now by today's modern. If you go to the modern like Hy-B or FIO interface, it's going to be better than this. So this is still a dated interface. However, it's still okay for playing music. It's still going to be better than, say, like Lotu's interface or Death and Race interface or Hi-Fi Man's interface, right? It's still going to be better than those guys when it comes to UI. So like I said, this is kind of in the middle. Not the best interface, but it's definitely still workable. Alright, so right now I'm playing a track. I can click this back button at any time to go back to the previous menu screen. And then this current playing track, of course, I can use the buttons to stop it, pause it, play it, and of course I can go to the next track and stuff. Click this button and I can see, whoops, click this button. Yeah, I can see more from the same album. So I can do that, or I can also swipe from the side. It'll be the exact same thing. I can see the same album. press back button, or I can press back on top. I can go to the next song. My previous song, we're pressing, that's one of the advantages of having a DAP, is that you have physical buttons to play, pause, or go to next track, something you don't get with modern music players and on phones. Yeah, so on smartphones you don't get these dedicated buttons. And you can click on this and you can see the different details about the track. You can see the album, genre, year, bitrate, file size. This is a FLAC file. I've tried to play FLAC files possible. By the way, the built-in storage is 128 gigabytes. So yeah, it comes with 128 gigs of built-in storage, and then I just loaded up another 128 gig memory card in there. But right now I'm just reading off the memory card. So yeah, you can favorite this, you can add it to a playlist, you can put it on repeat, yep, repeat one, and then you can shuffle it. These are all standard controls for a media player. But this is Astell Kern's interface, so it'll tell you the bitrate and the file type on top as well. And I think if you click into it, if there's lyrics, it'll actually show the lyrics. So right now I don't have lyrics for any of my songs, but you have that option. And yeah, you can also swipe this way, or you can press this Astell Kern button right there, and it'll go to the main menu. From the main menu, we can go through songs, album, artist, genre, playlist, folder, favorite, MQS, CD library services and settings. Yeah, so songs, obviously going to list all songs. For me, I have a lot, so I rarely use that. Albums, yeah, again, I have a lot of albums. Artists, I have a lot of artists, and yeah, a lot of my music files are not labeled very well. Like, for example, like this, like having all these Britney Spears ones, like who did this? Like, I just got these you know, off the internet, this album off the internet, and then they labeled it like this, and that's annoying. Like, why? Genre, these are not always labeled on all my files. Playlists, I think I have some, I just made a few playlists. Like I made this one for like 90s pop songs. Yeah, so yep, I have that. So yeah, those are playlists. Folders, this is probably, if you know which songs in which folder, probably one of the fastest ways to get to it, because yeah, it will list everything, and sometimes like the tags and labels are messed up. So if they're messed up, then pretty much I have to go to the folders to find it. So yeah, because I won't be able to search easily for it if the tags and labels are messed up. But if I know exactly, you know, which folder it's in, I can go easily there into the SD card. Favorites, right? I don't have any favorites right now. MQS. So this, like I said, is a branding for Astell Kern. It's a category, it's not a file format like MQA is. But it's basically all the files that you have at 24-bit, up to 192 kilohertz will be showing up here. So yeah, I think most of my FLAC files should be here actually. Yeah, so Daft Punk files, yeah, so those are FLAC. I don't think I have any DSD files. No, DSD files are like massive, so I don't have any. I don't have any MQA files either. Nothing in my CD library. Services, so you can connect to VLink, Deezer, or Tidal. I don't stream anything, but for those of you who stream, these services are available. I think you might be able to sideload Spotify, some other streaming services, because this is running Android, so yeah, I think you can sideload them. But it comes with these three, VLink, Deezer, and Tidal. I think Deezer and Tidal are what most hi-fi people would use for streaming anyways. Settings here, yeah, the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. AK Connect is basically their ability to search for NAS drives in your network connection, basically, for files, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, across your own home network, they should be able to play that. DLNA, that's what AK Connect is. Equalizer, I have it just set to normal right now. I think you can customize that. Gapless playback. You can switch the line out. I think it'll turn the headphone jack into a line out, the 3.5 I mean. The left-right balance, playback settings. You can customize some stuff here. And notification panel. Yeah, so you can actually go from the top. So this is, if you go from the top, it'll give you some menu items here: Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, EQ, USB mode, external USB, what you would see in a normal Android phone actually, except this one's skinned for Astell Kern obviously. AK Connect, line out, car mode, wheel lock, and settings. So there's some quick buttons right there, and you can adjust the brightness as well. If you scroll up from the bottom here, I think you go back. No, you actually go to your play history. Yep. So you go through your play history if you go up from the bottom. So, yeah, and I believe if you go here, this is actually a home button as well if you tap down here. So say I'm in anything, you can just tap down here to go back to the now playing screen. So yeah, it's hard to see, but there is a home button here. Yeah, and what else do we have? CD ripper. I haven't tried this before, but you can rip your CDs here. You rip them into FLACs. There's a USB mode to turn this into a USB DAC, which you can then use to go to your PC. So that's cool. I think most DAPs are able to do that now. So that's a standard feature of most DAPs, but the Astell Kern obviously has it as well. And USB audio, choose PCM or DOP signals, DSD input converted, enable software decoding MQA. If you have MQA files, you can enable decoding there. Car mode, displays the playback screen for driving, makes it easier to, I guess, access. DAC filter, I haven't played too much around with this, but there's some DAC filters that you can use. I think they affect your music in marginal ways. So yeah, there's that. Volume limit. This goes all the way up to 150. Yeah, it goes all the way to 150. I think 100 is already plenty loud enough, and I don't really go beyond 100. But yeah, or even 90 is fine for me. But yeah, 150 goes all the way up there. So this can drive actually some pretty hard to drive headphones. Now I mostly use IEMs with this, but if you have a pair of studio headphones or big headphones like really high-end headphones that have high impedance, then I think this DAP should be able to drive them as well. A lot of people, instead of using a headphone amp at home, they use a DAP to drive their at-home headphones, which is also fine as well. So yep, you can definitely use this to do that. So yeah, date and time obvious, device name, screen brightness, language. I don't think it actually supports Chinese. Yeah, it doesn't. Although I have some Chinese songs on here, it doesn't support Chinese. At least I have some Korean because I have K-pop songs on here. Input method, yeah. Actually, they only have 3 input methods here, other than English, which is Korean, Japanese, and Russian. For some reason, I don't know why. They don't have Chinese. No. There's the timer settings. You can have it auto power off, which I do because otherwise you'll just suck up your battery life pretty fast. Go downloads, update for system update, running latest version. You update title as well. Yeah, so and then this will tell you how much space you used. It's almost similar to Android and system reset, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, that is the interface of the Astell Kern. So it's a very light version of Android, you could say. It's heavily skinned, obviously. But yeah, I think most of the time I would just use search and also go to your recently searched type of... Yeah, I'll go through your recently searched tags right here. And then you can search by different files. MQS, again, their branding of high-res files, basically your FLAC files, DSD, album, artist. And I can just type in previously searched term, go by artist, songs, and it'll filter out like that. Yeah, and this will go into the album itself, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, the keyboard is just your standard, like Android keyboard. And I can search for John Mayer. It takes a while. It's not like the fastest. It's not going to be as fast as your current modern day phone. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And you have access to everything here. Back button always goes back to your previous screen. And that's pretty much it. That is the Astell Kern SE100 and a basic overview of the interface and the design of this player, I think. Is it worth $1,700? No, I don't think so. I mean, Astell Kern is well known for charging premium prices for their products, but at $1,000 I think it might be a bit of a better value here, because now you're competing with the Fios and Shanlings, iBasos and Hybes, and I think that's a much better comparison now that this is a mid-range Astell Kern product, an older mid-range Astell Kern product, and the sound quality should still be quite competitive at this price range. So just a note about the different Astell Kern players that are out there in the market right now. Like I said, this one is the SE100, and it's originally released in 2018, so it's actually 3 years old now, which is part of the reason why I got it for so cheap. But the newer models, the one that was released last year, the SE200, the successor, it's pretty interesting because there's 2 sets of DAC circuitry inside of it. You can switch between the AKM DAC inside of it and also the ESS Saber DAC inside of it. So there's 2 sets of DAC circuitry, which is really cool. But I'm not sure if it's worth paying the extra money for it, because if you find it online, it's going to be around $1,300, $1,400. That's about a $500 discount from the MSRP of $1,800, but that's still like $300 or $400 more expensive than the SE100. I'm not sure if it's worth that extra premium, because, you know, being able to switch between the two is nice, but honestly, I'm not sure how many people will be able to tell like a really big difference between AKM and an ESS Saber. I mean, in generality, you can say that AKM DACs are more warm or velvety, and then ESS Sabers are more forward. But, you know, that's a generalization, and it really depends on the implementation, especially for the ESS chips, right? Because I like the SE100 has the ESS chip, but to me, it sounds more like an AKM DAC, the way that they implemented it. So, yeah, it really depends. So I'm not sure if that's worth paying the extra premium for, just for that slight difference in sound and tone between the 2 DACs. Yeah, the other one is the SP2000T, which I think is really cool. That one's over 2,000, I think $2,400 actually. Maybe it might go down 2,000, but that one actually is interesting because it has a new tube inside of it. So the Korg new tube, which I actually have tested before in my guitar amps in the Vox ones, this one is actually embedded inside the player, and you can switch between the tube circuitry and the solid state ESS DAC chip inside of it. That's really cool. That's something that the Cayenne N8 did a few years ago, but Astell Kern has managed to do it inside, for in my opinion, a much better looking chassis, a much better looking design. But yeah, that one's over $2,000, so it's kind of out of my reach unless it comes down in price. But it is one I like to check out just to hear the tube sound. But yeah, I wouldn't pay like double the price of my SE100 just for that. And then there's the SR25, which is the successor to the SR15, which I had before. I would say this one, if you want like a really portable DAP, then this one is the way to go, because it obviously has improvements over the SR15. It's, you know, got USB-C, and it supports LDAC, which is you know, big benefit for those of you who use LDAC Bluetooth headphones. But yeah, and they improved the circuitry a bit. It's using actually the same chipsets, I believe, using the same Cirrus Logic 43198 chipsets, but they improved they optimized the circuitry path a little bit. And it's got a bigger display, it's got a more modern Astell Kern operating system on it. But yeah, for that one, I'd say it's yeah, if you want a really portable small player, it's good, because it's smaller than the SE100, SE200, and it's slightly bigger than the SR15, but it's still very, very pocketable. And that one, I would say the sound quality is still probably below the SE100 that I have, which is part of the reason I still chose the SE100, because that is still using the old Cirrus Logic chipset of the previous SR15. But I think it's also a pretty interesting competitor to the Hybes and the FIO and the Shanlings, which is what the SR25 is competing with. So really, I think the debate for me, value-wise, for Astell Kern, I mean, value is a relative term, because Astell Kern is not usually associated with value. But for me, I think the value would be between the SE100, which currently you can find for around $1,000 online, and the SR25, which you can buy brand new for $800. So those are the two you should be looking at. Should you be paying $200 more for the SE100, or do you want to have the smaller size and portability and newer features, because it has, you know, LDAC support and newer operating system of the SR25? So it's really between those two, I think, would be the best two choices for kind of like a budget-minded Astell Kern buyer right now. Another thing I would highly recommend if you're considering buying this DAP is to get a case for it, because the design of this DAP is the sides are so edgy and sharp that if you attempt to hold it with your hand, like, it will get uncomfortable over time. And the back is so slippery that it will fall off the surface if it's not absolutely level. So yeah, I would highly recommend getting a case for it. In my case, this DAP is a limited edition with a custom artwork on the back, so I don't really want to cover it up, so I just got to be really careful with it. But yeah, if you're thinking about getting a regular SE100, then I would highly recommend getting a case for it. Alright, so yeah, that is the Astell Kern SE100 limited edition Venix Gundam model. And next up, I'm going to unbox another Astell Kern product that they recently released, and I think it will pair quite nicely with this. So yeah, stay tuned.
The only thing I don't like about this DAP is how sharp the corners are.
Yep.
Yeah, like.
And it's very slippery. The back is very slippery.
Like right here, it keeps sliding this way. Just like this stupid phone where it kept sliding, I dropped it so many times.
That's because they try to do this like industrial, like edgy design thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, no man, it's so uncomfortable holding it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so dumb. And then you go put it in your pants and everything, it's gonna eventually cut a hole into your jean pockets and everything. Because it's so damn sharp here.
Yep. It is uncomfortable. I mean, it's good build quality, but I think it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. Well, actually, if you see the build quality here, it looks like either dropped it right here in this corner. Because the metal here looks like it's a little bit blunted here. There's a little fold here in the metal. So someone must have dropped it. It must have dropped off the table or something.
Yeah, actually it dropped off the table a few times because it was sliding off.
Okay, so it dropped off after you got it.
Yeah, because well, this was almost brand new pretty much when I got
Exactly.
it. But the problem is, like, whenever I put it on any table, even if it's level, it still starts sliding.
Because even if you allow it off by a little bit, this type of glass, it's going to eventually slide off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless you're 100% level.
Yeah.
Then nothing's really 100% level.
So that's why I gotta be careful with that thing.
Exactly, that's what I can tell. It was already dropped.
Yeah.
And everything. I see the folds right here, and I see the damage at the corner.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that design. It's just
I agree.
they try to be really like edgy with it.
Yeah, but that's kind of like style over substance again. So.
Oh, it's got substance too.
I mean, in terms of that design. That
Oh yeah. Sure.
Okay, so this AK, it's a better quality sound than the quad DAC.
Mm-hmm. Well, it should be. It's $1,000 dedicated player.
It's not always about the price, but it is a better DAC.
Okay.
It is a better quality sound.
No, the interesting thing compared to the UA2, which is an $80 USB dongle.
Let me install the app. But yeah, it's better than the quad DAC. It's
Should be, yeah.
obviously more soundstage, and also the treble is a bit nicer. A bit more clarity in the treble. The bass is a lot stronger on the quad DAC, but to the point where the quad DAC is a little bit boomy. So it's a bit more balanced action on this one.
Okay.
But I think this one, in my opinion, can use a little bit more bass though. Maybe just by 5%, 5 to 6% more bass would be perfect. But it's still okay. It's still in the range.
Okay.
And the mids here are a little bit more elevated compared to the quad DAC. A bit more clarity in the mids.
Yep.
So the treble is a bit better. The mids are a little bit better. It doesn't have as much bass, nearly as much bass, but it's also less bloated because of that. And more soundstage.
Okay.
Overall, it's better sound.
Okay.
But it depends though. Some people might actually like the quad DAC more if they make that thick, rich, bassy sound. So.
I mean, you're talking about a built-in DAC on a phone versus a mid-range high-level DAC. So I mean, I would expect that one to be better. But the interesting thing is the UA2. I would be interested to see that one compared. That's an $80 USB dongle.
That's the thing. Off the top of my head, I don't recall this sounding better than the UE2 that I tried before, because the UE2 was really impressive as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's hard for me to tell right now because I need the proper volume to listen to the UE2, because they're too loud or it's too quiet.
Okay.
But in terms of sound quality, it sounds like their sound quality is almost. In terms of just pure detail, the sound quality, it sounds like they're pretty much the same level, like on par with each other. It's just the sound signatures are completely different.
Okay.
So the sound signature in the UE2 is more similar to my quad DAC, where it's actually a little bit less soundstage, and it's more of a warm kind of a fun sound. So it's more of a warm, romantic, fun sound, that's soundstage, but it's also bassier. So it's a lot more bassier, but also a bit more bloated in the bass compared to this one, compared to the AK.
Okay.
But the mids and the treble are both kind of, in terms of quality, about the same level. However, it's thicker. It's thicker and richer and more upfront on the UE2, but you're losing soundstage because of that. So this one is actually more neutral. This is much more neutral with a pretty big soundstage.
Okay.
Yeah, and with no bloated bass. Depends on what you want. Totally different sound signature.
Yep.
But in terms of pure sound quality, it sounds like they're about the same level of sound quality.
It should be. I think they're very similar in terms of the actual DAC level.
Yeah, because when I listen to like the details of the treble and in the mids, they're pretty much about the same. Yeah, but the UE2s are bloated in the bass.
Because they both use ES Sabers, and I think they're both even the same number. It's just one uses the Q2M and the Pro, but I think it's minor differences between them. But yeah, should be fairly similar.
Yeah, But if I really want to compare, I would say this might be a slightly higher quality sound than the UE2.
Okay.
Yeah. In terms of.
But because the implementation might be different.
Well, it's more neutral. The sounding is more neutral. There's more soundstage. So this actually sounds a little bit more.
But of course, the thing about the DAP, the good thing actually about the DAP is that perhaps because it's all integrated together, the way that the circuit designers or Astell Kern can actually design the circuits in a way that is more optimal. So the dongle, like, they have no access to your phone, obviously. So it has to be all inside the dongle. So maybe like the way they design this could be a little more optimal because they have complete control of the player.
And which one did you say uses like the Pro whatever DAP?
This one is.
This one, right? Yeah, because I don't know, if I had to push them to shove, I would say this is a slightly better quality sound. Yeah. From what I can hear. But that's maybe actually more because of the signature of the sound. Is more of a reference sound. So this is a nice DAP, it's nice in reference.
So you want to try this one?
Yeah, 1 sec. Let me try one more time with this so I can remember. And then I'll swap the headphones. I'm actually pretty interested in your campfires.
Yep. So let's do this one and then you do campfires after.
Yeah, if only we had like one of those the JH audio flagships or the whatever flagships, and then we can really compare those with the campfires. That would be a nice comparison.
Yeah.
That would be that's a kick-ass comparison. That's pretty much it. That's almost endgame for IEMs. So.
Well, it would be interesting. It's really high end. We're talking about JH audio. We're talking about like the Nobles, and then compare the campfires and also compare the Empire ears.
Exactly, especially the Nobles. Like the Nobles, you know, if you get like the Katana or something like that, and that compared to the Andromeda, would be interesting.
Andromeda's not even the top end. I think the actually the Solaris is what actually the campfire is one of the campfire's top end was.
Well, it's close to their top end. It might not be their top end, but it's the same thing with the Katana. The Katana's not their top end anymore. Their Sultan's the top end.
Yep.
But honestly, you get the Katana should be good enough because that's equivalent to the old top end one. The whatever 10.
And I think the JH audio Leyland is around that level too. And yeah, and I think Empire ears actually makes it a little bit higher than that. So like you can probably go down a little bit lower with the Zeus or something. Yeah.
It's such a stupid design, man. It's so stupid how sharp the corners are.
Oh, but it has to look elegant.
I gotta hold it like this, and I gotta push down the power button to start. It's like digging into my palm.
Yeah.
Like, who's an idiot who designed this, man? Like, fucking retard, man. What country is this from again?
It's Korea.
It's Korean? Okay. But yeah, but this design is fucking retarded. It's like, they're all absolutely retarded. It's like, and it sticks up like this. They gotta put, and they make it so that there's no touch screen to turn it on. And it's like I push down on this and jabbing my hand.
Oh, it might not be obvious, but you actually can touch the bottom to go back home.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can touch the bottom and go there. It's
Oh,
not
here,
obvious.
here.
Yeah, it's not obvious though.
Cool. But this DAP, nice DAP.
Yep.
Nice DAP.
Okay.
Good quality. I like it. If it was something cheaper, I probably would have bought one for myself.
The thing is, yeah, I was looking at the Hy-Vees and the Shenling E5s as well, but I found this one for not much more than those actually, and this was originally Astell Kern's mid range, so it's actually way more expensive than them. So I figured give this one a shot, and plus it's limited edition.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it. It's a high quality sound. It's a high quality sound.
But it would be interesting to compare against the Hy-Vees or the R6 2020s or the Fire M11 Plus or or even the iBasso XP DX. Would be interesting.
Yeah, I just wish it had a little bit more bass.